In this program, we're going to take a look at a really, really important string method if we're going to do any amount of string manipulation, which is what we want to kind of move towards. So this one is called substring puzzles, and we are going to be using the substring string method in order to read a string from the user and then print all of these sort of adjusted versions of the string. You may want to pause the video at several times, not only to just sort of get this initial setup down, but also to try and figure out what the solution is before it's presented to you. So maybe we'll do the first one together, and then before the solution is revealed, you may want to just do a little bit of tinkering, because it's in the tinkering, the trial and error, is where you're going to learn how to problem solve effectively with any new tool. So what we're going to do here is we will have a string called myText. This is going to be what the user is going to enter, and we'll just prompt them. So system.out.print, enter some text, and we'll do myText dot, gets the value of input dot next line. There we go. Okay, now we're ready to jump in and try to, based on whatever they typed in, to solve these different puzzles here. So what I want to do, just to keep them separated, I'm going to make myself a really nice long divider here. And I'll put it in between these elements. And it'll be so much easier when you're done to refer to this one again and find exactly what you need, because all of the individual elements are separated. There we go. Okay. So what we're going to do first is we're going to display the first three letters of whatever text they just entered. So system.out.println, and then we have to use the substring method, which will be new, to do this. So here's how it works. We put in myText, so we're going to print myText.substring, and then in here, in these parentheses, we put the parameters that define which values get printed. So I'm going to leave a lot of space here so that it's easy to keep them separated. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in a 0, because that is the first position of the string. And then I'm going to follow it by a 3. So when we run the program, I am going to type in hello world, and here we get the first 3 letters. Now, one of the things that you're going to have to watch out for when you're doing these is we've got the first 3 letters being printed, but what happens if I put something really short in here? So I'll let this run. Here we go. So if I put in the word at, what you're going to do is you're going to end up with a string out of bounds exception, because I am referring to positions within the string that don't exist. So you always have to be careful with substring that you're not looking outside of an actual string position. So now what we're going to do on this next one is do letters 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we're not starting at the beginning. So this might be a good time to pause the video and try this out yourself. So whether you pause the video and tried it or not, what we're going to do is take a look at the solution for this. So the first thing that we do is we're going to put in 3. This value here is always the starting position. Now, a lot of you may have started with this 3, 7. So we'll just take a look at that and see what it does. hello world. And let's see what I got here. Now I've got position 3, 4, 5, and 6, but it stops unexpectedly. So this is an interesting thing, and I'll show you where this is used. We put in 8 here, because, and then you should write this down as a note and refer back to it. The second value means that it goes up to, but does not include. And this is where a lot of the confusion around substring happens, is this number will not be printed or included in the substring. It goes up to but does not include that. And then we're going to see in the next situation where that is used. So if you want to pause the video, you can try to figure out how to print the last 3 letters. Whether you paused and tried it out or not, we'll take a look at the last 3 letters. So I'm going to do a little copy and paste here, and we'll see how we can figure that out. Okay, so the last 3 letters, we need to know where the string ends for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by going from 3 to, now how do we find out what the end is? It's my text.length. So we'll run this, and what we're going to do is we're going to get everything from position 3 all the way to the end. So if we put in hello world here, we get everything from position 3, you can see position 3 from here all the way to the end. So this is where we can take advantage of the fact that it goes up to but does not include. Because hello world, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's 11 characters, but the D here is in position 10. So length will give us 11. So if we get 11, it goes up to but does not include position 11, which doesn't exist, which goes to the end of the string. So that's actually really useful in this situation. Now, how do we get it to be the last 3 and not 3 to the end? So all we have to do is we're going to go from the length and subtract 3. So we're going to go from my text.length minus 3 all the way up to my text.length. Okay, now what you should try is figure out how to do the middle 3 letters. In order to do the middle 3 letters, we're going to reuse this. So how do we calculate what the middle of the string is? So the middle is, it's going to be my text.length divided by 2. Right? That should make some sense. We're going to take the whole length of this thing, divide it by 2, and that way we'll get the middle character. Now, what we want to do is we want the middle 3 letters, so we're going to divide that by 2, which is the middle. So we want it to start 1 character before the middle, and then we're going to go to 1 character after, but because it doesn't include the character that we just put here, we have to go 1 further. So we're going to get my text.length divided by 2, my text.length divided by 2 minus 1, and my text.length divided by 2 plus 1, and then the plus 2 character will not be included. Okay, 2 letters after the first E. So we need to use an extra string method that we have used in order to figure out where the E is and then use it in the solution. So you can try and figure out how to do that right now. Okay, so how do we figure out where the E is? So the position of the E is my text dot index of E. So the position of the E is going to be whatever index of gives us. Of course, our program will crash if you give it a string now that does not contain an E. So watch out from that. So I'm going to take this, do a little copy paste here. So we're going to go from mytext.index of E. So that's where I'm going to start. And then where I want to go to is 2 letters after this. Okay, so 2 letters after would be this. Of course, that character is not included. We have to go beyond that. And then we're going to get the 2 letters after it as well. Now, how do we get the letters between the first E and the last E? So try and figure that one out, and I'll give you the solution in just a second here. So how do we figure out what the last position of E is? So what I can do is I'm going to reuse this, and we're going to start at the index of E, and what we want to go to is not the index of which gives us the first place. We want to go to last index of E. Now, what's going to happen here is it actually won't give us everything. So I'm going to run this. So this is where you have to be really careful with what exactly is being. So I'm going to reword hello world. So hello, and I'm going to put in an E instead of an O here. Hello world. Still pronounced the same way. So the letter between the first E and the last E gives us, oh, I got to put my spacer there. It gives me L-O-W. So I didn't want to include this E here. So what we need to do first, I'm just going to add that in. We need to start 1 character later. So sometimes, even though you sort of have the solution figured out, you might need to give it a test and then just sort of nudge it in one direction or another. So this is a variety of ways that we can use substring. It's really useful for any string manipulation. And we'll be seeing examples of its use in a lot of projects coming up that we intend to do.